Welcome into the official. We have a great show for you this week, as always. And look at me, I don't have home field on. I'm fresh off of a flight. I flew to Indianapolis, had an overnight trip, came back here. Now we're recording. Pardon the dress shirt here. But anyway, so what we're gonna do this week is a mock draft. We've been rolling these out periodically once a month as the off season goes along to see how things change, how ADP changes, kind of creating our own little rookie ADP between the three of us, or freshman ADP. And things changed quite a bit between mock 1 and mock 2, and now we are kicking off mock draft 3.0 rounds 1 and 2 tonight. So stick around and let's see who's moving up, who's moving down the draft boards. This is the official. All right. We got the guys here. Everybody is locked in. Are we ready to mock draft?
Yep, as always.
As always. I know you could probably mock every single day. Well, we're going to go through 2 rounds here. Usually we take plenty of time, so I don't think there's any reason to do a whole lot other than just get right to it. Matt, I don't know if this is a random generator or whatever, but you are listed on the sheet as the 101. Congratulations. Who's coming off the board first for you? Has anything changed, or are we going to make it 3 mocks in a row with the same guy?
Yeah, no, I actually, it was not random. I did put myself at 1 this week. That's because there is a change, so I figured it at least makes things a little interesting.
Okay, here we go.
Up until now, Raiola has been the pretty consensus number 1 pick for us here. As of late, I'm now flipping it to Hudson. It's kind of been a combination of Hudson moving up, even higher for me than Raiola dropping down a tiny bit after, an up and down Elite 11 performance where we would have liked to see a tad bit more from him. And then just Hudson going over his profile again and again. There's just, I think it's pretty flawless. I think there aren't really many concerns, if any at all. So, I'm confident with taking him this number 1 spot now.
I mean, that is pretty bold, but like you said before, 2023 was a pretty decent wide receiver class, and you say he would have been your number 1 by. Is he the highest? I think he's the highest guy you've ever graded in 3 years of doing this now, 3 classes. So that seems pretty reasonable to go ahead and take him number 1. David, you're up next, 102. So you technically could get a big time value here.
Yeah, I guess I will go with Dylan Raiola. Although I'm just looking at his on-3 confidence, it's Dwayne Haskins. Obviously, rest in peace. But I think it's his lack of rushing, which probably is why that comp is in there. But yeah, I think we don't have to say a ton on him. Obviously, I think Sam might be a higher floor, but I do think Raiola's got a really high ceiling. Like, he only started playing quarterback as a freshman, can throw like a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, stuff like that. So I'll just go with Raiola.
Okay. No one's going to fault you for that. I think I'm going to go with Mylan Graham. He is now my wide receiver 2 in the class, and I haven't taken a receiver this high. Well, no, I guess I have, but anyway, it's a different receiver. I've taken some other guys as my first receiver off the board, but I think Graham, the stars are aligning here. He's a great prospect. I've got him graded high. You've got him graded high. Ohio State, whatever. This is kind of not that difficult. I will just going back to Micah Hudson. He has not committed yet. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
So
last I checked, it's still projected Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, which honestly, that's just a little weird, but for such an elite guy, but could be huge dividends on the stats, which is what we care about. All right, back to you, Matt. For the 104, you're gonna play quarterback collector like you've been doing.
Well, I didn't take a quarterback first this time, so now I have to, get my quarterback in
Yeah,
here second.
I know
I
where you're gonna
did
go.
I did move Sane up in my rankings. He's now in my tier 1 with Raiola, which there honestly isn't a huge grading gap between them anymore. I just think he's so ready to go at this point, and with how not great the Bama quarterback room is currently, they don't even have someone who's a real favorite. I mean, Milrow maybe at this point, but I doubt any of those guys are going to be the starter next season. The one following the season when Sayin is there, I think there's a legitimate chance he could play year 1 unless they bring in a transfer.
All right, I don't hate it. I mean, I think he's moved up for me too. He's my QB2, and yeah, he did close the gap between him and Raiola. I'm with you there. David, 105.
I'll go with Jeremiah Smith. I know Alfred, you're off of him.
Hey, we were
You know,
just talking offline. I'm gonna go reevaluate. I haven't put the nail in the coffin yet.
Yeah. No, I'm
But I
not
have
like
been off. You're right. I have been.
No, I like it. I like how you're not going to hedge at all. You should just stick to that. No, so he's just an Ohio State 5-star receiver. I mean, that's my analysis.
Fair. That's fair. I think that's fair. All right. Well, we can just move on to me then. I think that's totally reasonable as well. Gosh, this is a little tough because I think I can probably wait 2 more picks to get my next guy. I feel like I just don't like the same guys as you, so I can always kind of get my guys. I'm going to go Nathaniel Frazier here. He's my 3rd graded running back. He's going to Georgia, and I know a big wide receiver guy really values that college production a whole lot. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's 215 pounds. He's going to Georgia, and we might have to wait a few seasons. But I guess it doesn't bother me at the top of the draft. I'm still looking for NFL upside, and I think his tape looks good. Georgia feels that they want to get him in their class. I mean, I'm going to defer to a blue chip program that has put a ton of running backs in the NFL, and I'll just supplant with like a G5 running back for a few years or something like that. But I think this puts him on a track for NFL, day 2 pick. He's got good enough, density that he can be a 3-down back. We know he can catch a little bit. I think he's a pretty interesting prospect. I kind of like him quite a bit, even though there's that weird thing with the high school production and all that. So I'm always a little wild card, but the Georgia signing really kind of just sealed it for me. Like if Georgia says he's that good, then I think I'm okay with it. Matt, moving on. I know you made a vomit face when I took him there.
Yeah, I mean, I've dropped him down significantly since the Georgia signing. So.
Yeah, I mean, that bumped him for me. It took him down for you. So we just kind of look at that differently.
I will just be going my quarterback route like normal. I'll be taking Aaron Noland here, quarterback, Ohio State. I think I've talked about it on like the 3 past episodes I've been on, not including last week since I wasn't here. So I don't think I really need to dive into it. I think he's the next Ohio State quarterback, and he's a good player.
All right, so we got a few guys here bumping up from kind of into the first round. Julian Sayin, Frazier, and Noland now jumping up into the top half of the first round. So they're kind of leapfrogging some guys. David, are you going to keep that trend going, or where are you going here? 108.
I think I'm going to grab a running back. I'm going to grab Cam Davis. I'll just start with I don't love that he plays quarterback in high school. Like, I think there might be a little bit of a little slower transition because of that. But he's 5'9.5", 210 already, super dense player, really strong lower half, really good change of direction and burst, breaks tackles, catches like he's really good at catching passes in the camp setting. Obviously, he's a quarterback, so he doesn't have any receiving stats, but it's pretty obvious that he's a 3-down skill set if you look at this camp stuff. So, and Florida State's, I think, a pretty good spot to be.
All right. Yep. I mean, I like him. I think I took him as the first running back off the board in mock draft number 2. So, I think that's right around the right spot for him. I'll make this quick. I'm going DJ Lagway. He's still my quarterback 3. And, you know, even, Billy Napier couldn't hold AR down. He's going to be the week 1 starter in the NFL after being drafted in the top 5. That's kind of a non sequitur, but I'm just saying, like, Florida's not the kiss of death. If you're good, you're good. And so, I think Lagway can be utilized as a dual threat. That we love that for fantasy, and I'm happy to take him here and get a quarterback instead of wait. I think last time I waited way too long, and you guys scooped them all up. So I'm taking one here. Matt, 110. Round out the first round here.
No, one more pick out. Or 3 more picks.
Well, I know, but like, it's the last 3 picks of the first round. So like, we're rounding third base.
I understand. Yeah, I would have taken Lagway here if you didn't, just to continue my QB collecting, but he's gone. I'll go with Cam Coleman, wide receiver, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Probably one of the highest upside guys, wide receivers in this class. Extremely young, extremely athletic. I'd like to see him increase his production last year, but he's playing on a team that had other FBS starters last season in Carmel English, now in Michigan. Same school that developed Justin Ross too. He's kind of that big body type there as well. So I like him. I don't exactly love Texas A&M. We'll see what they are this year, but I'm comfortable taking him here at the back of the first.
Yeah, sounds good. He was taken right there last time as well, so I think we're pretty even there. David, 111 here.
111. I'll go with Mike Matthews. He's not the most refined receiver at this point. He was actually viewed as a 5-star safety prospect early in his career. Spends a lot of time playing basketball, high-level basketball player that had a P5 offer early in his career. Just needs to put more time into receiver, I feel like, and really refine his game. But like, has all the athletic tools you could want in a high-end receiver, and the Tennessee system is quite juicy. So I think he'll, at the very least, produce really well on the college side.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he's another guy. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, Mike Mack, these are guys I've been off of through most of the process, but I need to go look back at these guys because, I'm the only one who's way off. And when I'm the only one, I think I gotta make sure I'm looking at it the right way. Okay. I got back-to-back picks here, and I like that because there's 2 guys I'm going to make. I'm going to make Landon Thomas a first-round pick, even though he could have been the first pick in the second round. I really like, he's my TE1. I think that FSU is probably a good place. They've used, I don't know if he'll play full-blown TE. He could play kind of like Johnny Wilson, kind of that type of role. He could play a little outside as well. I think he's a really intriguing prospect, and Chris Moxley would be proud. Obviously, he has not been drafted here before at 22 picks, way ahead. But I've gone through the tight ends, and I like him the best, so I'm going to take it, even though it's probably early, because I don't think you guys are as high on him. And then, let's go with – I'm glad to get this guy. I really like Bryant Wesco going to Clemson. I think he's a pretty good player. The more I watch him, the more I like him. And I don't know how long Garrett Riley will stay there. But as long as Garrett Riley's there, I think that offense is going to be pretty exciting. So, year 1, we don't expect that much, but I think year 2, he could come in. So, David, looks like we're reversing order. So you're up with 202.
I'll just take Jaden Riddell. He's, another Georgia tight end. 86th percentile athlete, shows, really good body control and hands, and hits 21.2 miles per hour. Good basketball player, all that stuff. So,
yep, I like it. Back to you.
All right, I'll be taking Quentin Martin, running back Penn State. He's pretty long and decently sized. For a while he's listed in 180s, but now he's up to 200s. Luckily, good athlete. A very, very high end receiver. I think Penn State, one of the best strength and conditioning programs out there. I think they can bulk him up even more, and he could become a pretty elite producer in college. He could be next up after K-Tron and Singleton there, kind of arriving at a perfect time.
Yeah, I like the spacing between the two who are there now, and when he comes in. And, speaking of the strength and conditioning, I was going through Bruce Feldman's freak list. They're all Penn State. I mean, I didn't count how many, but I think it was at least 5 or 6 of the top 100 freaks in the nation are Penn State. So either it's probably a combination of recruiting a certain type and then also, advancing them once they get on campus. But that was crazy to see so many Penn State guys there. All right, so back to me. Oh, geez. I think that I like going to go with another tight end, and I'm going to go Caleb Odom. He's my second, and he's going to Alabama since our last mock, and I just like that too. So I think we like this tight end class. I think it's weak-ish in some of the other places, so I'm happy to kind of restock. If this was a real team, restock with a few tight ends maybe this year, because I think there's a lot of strong prospects in that position group. David, 205.
I'll go with a running back. I have Taylor Tatum and Jordan Marshall like really close together, and I think they're both relatively safe players. I don't know. I think I'll go with Taylor Tatum, I guess, just because he's got a little bit more juice. I think he's got a little more top end on Tatum. So Tatum is 74th percentile athlete. Top end is 21.6 miles per hour. He's also like a really good baseball player, so it just speaks to his overall athleticism. I don't know. Apparently, he plans on playing baseball at Oklahoma. You never really know with these guys. Like they just say that, and then are they going to follow through on it? Yeah. I'm not really sure, but I think he's a pretty safe player.
All right, Matt, you're up next.
Yeah, I was actually hoping David did not say Jordan Marshall there, because that's who I wanted. So I'll be going Jordan Marshall, running back, Michigan. I really love the combination of his extremely good production profile, really good athletic profile too, and then going to Michigan on top of it, I think he easily clears Cole Cabana and Benjamin Hall once he gets on campus.
Yeah, I like Cabana a little bit, but I think Hall, that's pretty easy one for him to jump. All right, now it's back to me here. I think I'm going to go with Perry Thompson. Auburn's been a rough place for offense, but Hugh Freeze should be able to do something there. We just saw him at Liberty where they had quite a passing attack. And so you like that. And he should play as a freshman. This should be an immediate impact type guy, at least from an athletic standpoint. So Perry Thompson feels pretty good right there. David, you're up.
I'll go with I guess Draylon Miller. I don't know, just to mix things up.
I took him like way high last time, and I was like, that was probably dumb.
Yeah, he's in your tier 1, isn't he?
Yeah, I really like him. Yeah, he's my kind of player. Does one of those like triple threats on offense and special teams, all that.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of a do-it-all type player with like a running back build, which I kind of like that. So go with him.
All right, back to you, Matt. 209.
I'll be going just to continue this RB spree. I'll take Johan Cardenas here.
Oh,
running back Vanderbilt. I think there's a good chance he steps on the field, the year 1 starter. I mean, Cedric Alexander there, so he got pretty good play this year, and he's 180-pound back. I think Cardenas is significantly better talent, workhorse size, extremely good testing. I think has like our third highest athletic score in the class. Extremely powerful, and pretty good speeds at his size too. I think he's a pretty sure thing at this stage to be at least a very high end college producer, and I think he has the athletic upside to be something in the NFL.
Yeah, I can't hate it at all. I think that's fun, and it's still early. These guys haven't signed yet. I mean, there's a chance he gets on someone's radar and doesn't wind up at Vandy, or even
I
plays
want
great
Vandy.
year one and transfers.
No, I just keep him there.
Well, yes, for production and workhorse stuff, but I don't know, is the NFL going to draft a guy high out of Vandy?
They'll draft him at least day 3.
Oh yeah, but I would hope day 2. But yeah, anyway, I think I like him. I didn't know he'd go. I guess it looks like he's 9 higher than last time. So he went in our second part 2 of the mock number 2. So I thought I could wait. He was definitely a guy I was already looking at. So good call there. My dog is going insane behind me, so I apologize to everyone. I'm gonna go with this might be early, but let's make it we're gonna switch it up. I want to go Kedron Young. I really like size, speed. It's a fairly weak class. I think he's gonna go to Notre Dame, and they're gonna feed him the rock. I mean, I think it's a good landing spot for production. And he, the main knock is not tons of lateral agility, but he might be a guy who could make it work, very fast and already 220 pounds, I believe. So David, you are up for last 2 picks here, David and then Matt.
This is a guy I feel like I'm probably higher than most on, which is usually bad for me, but TJ Moore, I just think he's super fluid. He's young for the class. He's scored 5 different ways. He had 2 rushing TDs, a bunch of receiving TDs, kick return, punt return, and interception return. He plays in Florida, not the highest level in Florida, which is I guess that's one of the concerns there is he doesn't play great competition. I think his SOS was 14 or something, so that's not great, but he dominated nonetheless. I like that he works. I think he's a good route runner. I think he knows what to do. He stems pretty well. And I think he can win at all 3 levels. And he actually works back to the ball, which I like. He'll actually kind of attack the ball in the air. So I'm a fan of him. I feel like I'm a little too high on him maybe, but I'll just roll with it for now.
All right. Terrence Moore, a.k.a. TJ Moore. And then Matt, the last pick, who is going to be Mr. Irrelevant for the top 2 rounds here for freshman 2024 draft?
I'll be taking my tight end here in Davon Mitchell, tight end going to Oklahoma. Recently reclassified from 2025, so he's going to be extremely young in the class. He's very athletic, great route runner, good blocker. I feel like he's a complete package there. Oklahoma features the tight end pretty good, and I find it. I imagine he'll be able to get on the field relatively quickly. So I think he's kind of a slam dunk pick at this point.
Okay, slam dunk pick with the 212. All right, so let's recap these teams here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and drop in the comments who you think walked away with the best freshman class here. We got Matt taking his QB2, I guess. He's not your QB1. But Julian Sand, Aaron Noland, back-to-back QBs to start. Cam Coleman, Quinton Martin, Jordan Marshall.
I think there's something wrong with that. It's not showing Micah Hudson. Oh, are you scroll up?
Oh, yep, you're right. So Micah Hudson first. Then Sayan, Nolan, Cam Coleman, Quinton Martin, Jordan Marshall, Johan Cardenas, Davon Mitchell. David went with still most everyone's 101, which is Dylan Raiola, so got a little value there at 102. Jeremiah Smith, Cam Davis, Mike Matthews. That's a pretty strong four-man start there. And then Jade Riddell, most people's TE1, Taylor Tatum, Draylon Miller, Terrence Moore. And then I went Mylan Graham, Nate Frazier, DJ Lagway, Landon Thomas. I really like those top 4. Then I started getting a little bit quirky. Bryant Wesco, Caleb Odom for another tight end, Perry Thompson, and Keedron Young. I think it was I probably jumped the gun on the tight ends there, but those are the guys I like, and I actually think there's a class to maybe load up on tight ends. What do you guys think about that? Now that we've kind of rounding into folks a little more, we did our tight end show, so kind of really talked about them a little bit differently and more in depth. Do you feel like that's true?
Yes, I wouldn't take the guys you took this early, but I do think it's a very good tight end class.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a bunch of other names I still like too.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
we'll
we've gotten
definitely
deeper
see
into
them in
the
the
class,
second part.
I agree. I think there's still quite a number of guys. I think it's a class. There's not that many elite guys I'm super duper excited about, but once you get down, like honestly, the day 2s of these drafts I've liked better because I'm not as worried about like picking the elite guy. And there's a lot of fun projectable guys, but there's not as much sure things I feel like as in some years past. So you kind of, you got to draft somebody, but I feel like I'm not. The first round is harder for me because there's not as much sureness as there has been in the past. So anyway, all right, well, good stuff. We actually came in under half an hour. That's crazy. But I guess we're getting a little more used to this whole process with the mocks. I'll bring everybody back in here. So thanks, guys. Mock 3.0 rounds 1 and 2 is in the books. Next month, we will bring you Mock Draft 3.0 Part 2. We'll do rounds 3 and 4. And until then, this has been The Official.